to the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show.
Welcome to the GCN show.
Hello and welcome to the GCN show. This week we're going to pass judgment on the programme, which is of course the new Lance Armstrong movie.
Probably going to need another one of these, aren't we?
Plus we're going to bring you up to speed on all of the latest cycling news in our cycling shorts.
Yeah, including a sockless controversy no less. Plus, don't forget we've got Tweet of the Week, we've got Tech of the Week, we've got Hack of the Week, and we'll also take the time to explain exactly what a bodge is.
And they cheer for everybody, but the style of cheering is different. It's heckling.
Come on, Pete, it's a goddamn bike race!
It comes across a little bit mean-spirited, but it's really to try to get a smile and laugh out of the riders.
Stop laughing, guys.
The new Lance Armstrong biopic was released last week throughout Europe, so we thought we'd go and check it out.
Yeah, and if we're ever going to review something on GCN, well, it might look a little bit like this. Probably going to need another one of these, aren't we? True.
Move over.
Right, so what were our impressions of the programme? Well, I think firstly, it needs to be said that as cycling geeks, it's fairly easy to pick holes almost all the way through, right from the very start in fact. So they tried to depict Flèche Wallonne race, the infamous one from '94 where three Govis riders ride away never to be seen again. And that was fine, except for the fact that all of a sudden they were riding over cobblestones, which never appear in that race. And on the start line, Armstrong meets Johan Brunel for the first time. He tells him, well, you might win races in the US, but you're not going to win anything here. That despite the fact that Armstrong was sat next to him in the rainbow jersey as world champion.
Yes, and frankly, I don't know if I can say this, but all the actors just looked a little bit fat, which is testament to how lean pro cyclists are, and not that the cast needed to lose weight, but it was another thing that you can't help but notice. Having said all that, as cycling fans, I think you will want to see this film, if only for the non-riding stuff. For me, it was the Floyd Landis storyline that was the most compelling. In fact, I think Landis probably warrants a film all of his own. Is such an interesting story, rather than condense 20 years of Lance history into just 108 minutes. I mean, like there's one section where Lance meets a woman, asks her out, and then gets married all in the space of 20 seconds, and then we never see her again, which is quick work. Probably faster than even you could manage, actually.
Yeah, I was impressed by that, actually. Overall then, I am personally quite glad that we went to see it, just to satisfy my own curiosity as to what it would be all about. I mean,
and to eat three massive things of popcorn.
Yeah, that was good as well. I didn't learn anything new about the Armstrong story. I certainly wasn't bowled over by the drama as it unfolded on the big screen. I mean, whichever way you look at it, the Armstrong story is incredible, and for me, the film just didn't quite do it justice.
Yeah, but let us know what you guys think as well. This is a really, really interesting film and worth a watch, so let us know in the comments section down below. And see if you can be eating 3 tubs of popcorn. I don't think you'll be able to manage that. A few of you mentioned after last week's show that you had absolutely no idea what we were talking about when we used the word bodge. And that's probably fair enough. It is weirdly British, a little bit like Bradley Wiggins.
Yeah, so this week we thought we'd start off with a genuine bodge to really sum up the difference between this and a hack. So this image sent in by Andy Reid, he says, let's take a classic Peugeot and add some mad stem riser modification to create a certain death scenario. Hashtag only in Nelson.
So there you have it then. A bodge is like a hack, only more likely to result in serious injury. Much like this next one, actually, that was sent in by Alyssa Hoyt, who said that I had a friend who broke their chain out on a ride, so I towed him home using an inner tube as a tow rope. And there is a reason why most tow ropes are not elastic.
Actually, we had another one sent in by Kyle Lewis, which is a hack, and I can personally vouch that it doesn't result in any kind of injury.
So not a bodge?
It's a homemade chain whip, which I did myself as a teenager. Here's Kyle's, and this is mine, which I've still got.
I actually also made a chain whip when I was young. Yeah, except I didn't actually make it. I just fashioned it out of an old chain and a drain cover. So a temporary chain whip, but it worked.
I think we kind of need photos of that, don't we?
Oh, I'll try and recreate it tonight.
Time for Caption Competition now. And last week you'll remember that the photo was this one from the Giro presentation of Peter Sagan with Alberto Contador. And our winner is Steve Walton, who said this: "Sorry I'm late, Bertie. I missed my lift with the Astana team car."
That's a good one, that one. Now, get in touch, Steve, either by Twitter or Facebook or some form, and we will send you some GCN swag in return. Now, this week's caption photo is this one. Dan, do you want to get started?
Unbelievable. Christmas is starting earlier and earlier every year. I mean, it's only October. Look at this.
That's quite good, actually.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah. Right, if you think you can beat Dan, or even get somewhere close to him, then let us know your caption in the comments section down below, and you too could win some GCN swag and a shout out in next week's show.
Doesn't get better than that. Well, normally at this time it's comment of the week, but unfortunately I've trawled through them this week, Si, and really haven't had any that have been noteworthy enough to include, I don't think.
Well, it's funny you say that, Dan, but I found 1 or 2,000 underneath the Jebel Hafid descent that you shot with your Garmin Verb.
All right.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Gavin Smith said, Dan Lloyd must have been a great climber when he was a pro.
But don't get that. I didn't do any climbing in that video.
No, I think that might be his point. Paul Andrews said, I think my nan could go faster. And Callum Goldsmith said, Dan, learn to go downhill. It will help me get to school quicker, as I won't have to watch an 8-minute video.
There's a 40k an hour limit down there.
That explains it then, does it? Right. Anyway, it wasn't actually a very good week for you in the comments, full stop, unfortunately, because this one, sorry mate, jumped out at me under the multi-tool video. I made a reference to the fact that I don't ride with a spanner, but Scott McKenzie pointed out that I ride with a couple of spanners on most GCN shows.
Don't get that.
That's a great one. That's really good. Anyway, should we read out Toby Bartlett's as well? That was good, I thought. I got caught watching GCN in a lecture. I then got awarded 20 lad points because the lecturer is a total legend.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one, and doesn't refer to you either.
Exactly.
Or how about Joseph DeMars, who said, I don't know, we want to see the back of that Speedo saga. I can see his point.
So we did have a few comments of the week in the end.
We did have a few comments of the week, and only, well, the vast majority reference your rubbish descending. Actually, I don't think you did descend rubbishly. I'll stick up for you, mate. I thought that was good.
Well, I dropped Lasty straight away. I was kind of waiting for him all the way down. Cycling shorts now, and we're going to start off with this really cool bit of news which came up on our Twitter feeds last week. I mean, it certainly made me smile. So,
did it?
Well, no, it didn't. Okay. But it's still quite cool, so listen up. It's sparked up by Graham Allsop, who graffitied on the roads of Yorkshire at the Tour de France in 2014, "Shut up legs." Now, of course, in the 15 months since that, it has started to look a little bit weary. And so the local council have come along and refreshed it. So we've actually got an official Shut Up Legs logo on a road in Sheffield. How cool is that?
That is very cool, actually. And I also noticed from the replies underneath that tweet that it made Jens Vox Day as well. Which is probably just as well, because poor Jens is feeling a bit down, isn't he, since you and I.
11 seconds behind Simon. I'm beaten. It's way unfair.
Well, it's not just because we beat him, but apparently the Shut Up Psy t-shirts haven't been selling as well as his originals.
No, anyway, rather embarrassingly, almost the exact moment when Matt, John and I were taking the mick out of triathletes.
No, if you like riding with no socks.
For not wearing socks when they raced. The men's British Team Pursuit team were winning the European track champs without wearing socks.
I did notice that, and I'm just wondering whether it's a cunning plan by Team GB. Especially given that Brad, when he did the hour record, had these special aero socks on underneath his shoes. I'm just wondering whether by the time we get to Rio, all the other nations will turn up without socks because Team GB did it, and they just come up with some special socks that save them a few seconds, just throwing all the other teams off the scent.
Well, you are throwing a lot of people off the scent if you don't wear socks under your shoes, aren't you?
That is true.
Yeah. Anyway, Australia, I know you're listening. Quick tip from Dan there, buy yourself some aero socks, look cool, ride faster. Genius.
Bit of bad news now though, because
really?
the only professional continental team from South America, Colombia Calder Ports, has announced that they will no longer continue into 2016 due to a lack of funding from the Colombia Sports Council, although things might not be quite as simple as all that. Regardless, you have to give that team a hell of a lot of credit because they developed the talents of Nairo Quintana, Esteban Chavez and Darwin Atapuma, to name but a few.
Yeah, you've got to hope now that there are enough brilliant Colombian riders in the pro peloton that World Tour teams are actually just going to look straight to South America rather than needing any kind of development team. I know I would. I know that Movistar have, kind of, because they've just signed Carlos Betancourt.
Yeah, they did get his signature. I know Team Sky was sniffing around Betancourt for a while, but they decided that although marginal gains was a team policy, that massive gains wasn't. So they left him on the side. Some good news though for any rider who is without contract at the end of this year, and that is that they might find an alternative career with Uber Rush. Now that's the same company that did Uber taxis, and you know how successful they were with that. Uber Rush is their courier service, so you can either do it with your car or indeed with your bike. I guess it's going to be interesting to see what an impact they have in that side of things compared to what they did with taxis.
You will. Do you fancy it, mate?
No.
Okay. Fair enough. Now, before we leave cycling shorts for this week, we do need an update on Peter Sagan and his white shorts. Well, neither have actually been in action, publicly at least, this week, but the Cyclocross World Cup never fails to disappoint when it comes to inappropriate white shorts, because the leader's skin suit is full white, and Wout van Aert proudly displayed his during the round 2 at the weekend. But fortunately, we were spared 2 skin suits because Katarina Nash, who was leading the women's, didn't take the start line, so it's just 1.
I don't know if you also noticed, but the newly crowned world time trial champion Vasil Kirienka has also been seen with a fully white skin suit.
I didn't see that.
I have to say I was expected more from a company like Rafa.
I know, it's a bit of a faux pas, that one, but there we go.
And that draws to a close our cycling shorts for this week.
Racing news now, and increasingly the Japan Cup is being seen as the full stop at the end of a busy season for pro riders. And this year, the 140-kilometre race was won by Bauke Mollema, ahead of Diego Ulissi and local rider Yukiya Arashiro, who's actually riding for the Japanese national team.
Yeah, and he'll be riding for Lamp Primarida apparently next year as well, moving over from Europcar. Meanwhile, back in France, newly crowned world time trial champion Vasil Kirienka took his first win in that pearly white rainbow band skin suit at the Chrono des Nations. He beat one of the sensations of 2015, Marcin Białobocki. Sorry, Białobocki. That's right, isn't it?
Białobocki, yeah.
Yeah, that'll do. He came in just over a minute down in second place. In the women's event, it was Tatiana Antoshina who took the win. Białobocki. It is time now for Tech of the Week, and it's a great one. It's the new Canyon Speedmax time trial bike.
Yeah, we did that last week, mate. Didn't you see it? We had this whole great gag about triathletes.
I watched the show, but I presumed it was a different bike you were talking about, because you said that it wasn't...
Because it's not actually UCI legal.
UCI legal, and quite frankly, it is. All you've got to do is take those fairings off, ta-da, you can use it in any UCI race.
Yeah, okay, that is a fair point.
Yeah, it's less backbite, more transformer.
Robots in disguise.
Yeah, right, fair enough. Anyway, do you see elsewhere in the world of tech this week that American rider Ted King has just been given this very cool retirement present? So Ted King has been in the pro peloton with Cannondale in somewhere or another for the last 5 years, but he's hanging up his wheels. And so, as a retirement present, instead of a gold watch, they gave him this very, very bling-looking Super 6 Evo. Which do you think you'd prefer, Dan? A Rolex or a sparkly bike?
Well, I'm not retiring yet from this, but thanks for asking. But I guess some sparkly bikes these days are worth a lot of money, aren't they? I just have whichever one's worth more, really. eBay value.
Yeah, I can see you riding a sparkly bike, actually.
The second round of the UCI Cyclocross World Cup took place over the weekend in Valkenburg in the Netherlands. And in the women's race, it was Eva Lechner who stormed to victory, and she now leads the overall in that series. However, Sanne Cant proved that sometimes she just can't by finishing 4th on the day.
And in the men's race, it was local rider Lars van der Haar who rode clear of the field from the first lap to take what is his 3rd victory in successive years on that home course. Wout van Aert finished 2nd, and he actually sounded quite relieved in post-race interviews that his run of dominance had come to an end. And then 3rd place was Sven Nys, who was still looking incredibly cool.
Hey guys, I'm here at the US Open of Cyclocross in Boulder, Colorado on the same day that the World Cup was held in Valkenburg. And there are a lot of differences between cyclocross here in the US versus over in Europe. Obviously the skill level being #1, much higher level in Europe, but also the fans, the spectators, and the way that they engage with the athletes.
Come on, Pete, it's a goddamn bike race!
Over in Europe, there's much bigger crowds, but they're really there cheering for one person in particular.
Stop laughing, guys.
Here, Most of the people in the crowd actually raced earlier in the day, so they're athletes as well. And they cheer for everybody, but the style of cheering is different. It's heckling.
Come on, Nick!
Comes across a little bit mean-spirited, but it's really to try to get a smile and laugh out of the riders, ease the suffering a little bit.
Come on, Paige, it's a goddamn bike race!
And it's just more of a community. Take a look.
Well, I'd say in the U.S. there's a lot more sort of fan participation or fan interaction with the racers.
Yeah, like people just yelling at me today, this is a bike race, can you get up there?
Bike race, get together!
Yeah, it's just sometimes it's a little much, but it's also quite funny. And
I mean, America's always been the country that gives gold stars and ribbons to everyone that finishes, and I think that's kind of how our fans are, because you could be dead last or first place and have the same number of crazy fans cheering for you.
Yeah, well, you know, in Europe there's more fans, but it's different. They're there for one rider in particular. They're all drunk. Here, a lot of the fans are also drunk. Here, it's almost like Halloween every cyclocross race. People are dressed up, they're out here for a good time, and the fans are also racers.
Let's go, Mitch! Get on
Europe, they're just a bunch of old guys smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, and they're supporters for a certain rider, and that's pretty much it.
Cheers.
In general, the heckling is sort of all in good fun, and so, yeah, I mean, I think it makes it fun. It makes you laugh when you're suffering, or me laugh when I'm suffering, so anything that can kind of take your mind off the racing sometime.
Don't spit beer. Apparently, the police might get involved.
It's not like it is in the UK, is it? It's over here, it's like, well done, Matt, keep it going.
You'll find your pedal soon.
Yeah.
Stop laughing, guys.
And like my mom even drew
look
a picture
at the artwork there, just have a look at that.
Yeah.
The attention to detail with planning is, well, she's obviously speaking to Dave B, isn't she, about this?
Yeah, my mom's been on to Dave B. Yeah, we talked about making these for the whole team.
Dom's tweets of the week now. You kick us off, Si. What's the first one he's chosen?
All right then, he pulled out this one from Ian Boswell. He said, remember my organiser bags at GCN tweet at Real Stevens? Well, my mum is making an upgrade. So she clearly is. That is some pretty good handiwork. Good crafts work. You know, on the other side of that, it says it to them.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's a motivational sock bag.
What Ian's mum has done there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think my mom attempted to draw a leg on that.
Looks like it's been severed.
Something. Yeah. It's a bad leg. It's a bad leg. So.
Dom's other tweet this week has been selected, and it is from Phil Gamon, who says, Arm Day, with a picture of the weights from his local gym. Although you might think that he's training up for going back into the World Tour next year with Cannondale Garmin, having signed with them, but I've got it on good authority that actually he wants to win Guns of the Year next year on GCN. He wasn't happy that Greipel beat him by about 50%.
I was going to say, Phil's going to spend a whole winter sacrificing his cycling career to try and win a packet of Haribo.
Next week he'll be up to 27 kilos. Next year, 34.
Yeah. What do you reckon Greipel could do on that?
Oof. Coming up on the channel this week, on Wednesday, the Belgian cyclocross star Tom Meuersen shows us how to bunny hop.
This is how to bunny hop like a pro.
Bunny hop, and for a cyclocross star, or even for a cyclocross rider, he's particularly good at it.
Seriously good.
On Thursday, we've got a really cool but top secret top 10. And then on Friday, we investigate how much difference does your body position actually make to your average speed out on the open road.
It seems like we should do some science.
Shall we do some science?
You got the glasses?
Have I got the glasses? Drag coefficient.
So, how are we going to do this? Well, first of all, we have to say that we don't have the luxury of creating a big enough pool of data to draw any really accurate conclusions from it. What this experiment will do is give us plenty of food for thought. And then on Saturday, we've got Vincenzo Nibali's pro bike, and they are always worth looking at. Sunday is off the back. And then on Monday, if you're lucky enough to have a dedicated winter bike, well, this is how you store your posh bling bike over the winter months.
Posh bling bike.
If you live in a country with a very definite winter season, then you might be lucky enough to have a dedicated bike for that. So one with cheaper components and full mudguards, meaning that you can save your posh bike. And on Tuesday, It's a GCN show.
I forgot. Oh yeah, it is GCN show. Oh yeah, and if you want to introduce...
You actually made that joke on purpose, didn't you? Oh, no,
accidentally, yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
If you would like to introduce next week's show, you know how to do it, most of you, but if you don't...
Welcome to the GCN show.
It is using the hashtag WelcomeGCN, which you can do on Instagram, Facebook or Twitter. We'll find it. And do it in landscape mode, that's the one.
And Dan would ideally like 1080p.
Or 3D or preferably 4K.
3D? My word. Yeah, please, if you've got a 3D intro, let's have it. As ever, we are going to leave you with Extreme Corner. That's right, and this week we've got Trek Factory racing rider Gregory Rast getting even more air than Dan.
Arguably.
Not sure there was much argument there, Dan. I think it was pretty
No,
clear.
that was decent air, I guess. But we're going to continue the theme of roadies going over to the off-road discipline in our Extreme Corner this week, because a few road pros, amongst them Rebellin, Finetto, Salerno and Bonifacio, all did a fat bike race down in Laguaglia in Italy last weekend. And also there actually was Miguel Martinez, the mountain bike legend.
In disguise, by the look of it.
Not sure I can quite condone roadies going to fat bikes, but anyway. Well, that's all for this week's GCN show, but as ever, we've got plenty of content for you to catch up on. So if you missed it, just up here is how to plan your winter training to become a better rider.
Yeah, but if you just want to know how to ride like a pro, why wouldn't you? Then click down there and you get straight through to that one, where there's a few lessons almost direct from Mario Cipollini himself.
And if you like this video, give it the thumbs up just down below. And if you would like to subscribe, if you haven't done so already, I can't believe anyone hasn't. I guess there's a few. All you've got to do is click on us and it's absolutely free.
What an appealing prospect that is, Dan.
Yeah.
You had your haircut?
No, I need it cut actually.